this video, I want to talk to you about the system that I use, and this is the exact same system that we use to help our clients implement so that they can easily come up with about 30 plus pieces of content in just about 30 minutes. Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Emmanuel. I am the founder of Square One Group, where really our mission is to help real estate agents identify their expertise and then help them scale their real estate business using systems. That said, I got nothing to sell you. Just wanted to give you some simple strategies to hopefully bring in some new business so that when you do decide to scale, you think about working with us. That said, content, it's super important. It's also one of the biggest problems that I had when I started my business. It was really it boiled down to coming up with content. And it's simply because we are in a currency of collecting eyeballs. And if we do not collect enough eyeballs, then our businesses will fail. Now, after talking and helping hundreds of real estate agents at this point, this is probably one of the biggest challenges that they face with regards to building consistency in their business. So today, I want to chat with you about coming up with a super simple strategy to come up with content. Now, this strategy that I'm referring to, it's so incredibly simple that we're able to workshop this with our agents on a Zoom call, and we can do it in like 30 minutes. Now, in order for me to help you quickly understand how this works, I first need to set up a baseline. 4 big principles or big ideas that I want you to understand. Number 1 is that we need to think about decomposing steps. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? The content creation process, if you look at it in its totality, it's pretty daunting. Like the process for creating an Instagram reel or a YouTube video, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of steps involved. However, if we compartmentalize those steps into small little tasks, the process of creating these videos actually becomes a heck of a lot easier. Now, if you've ever seen these huge buildings built out of Legos, think of this the exact same way. If you wanted to try to build these buildings just on the fly by yourself, it's pretty intimidating, it's pretty daunting, you wouldn't even know where to start. But if you broke this down into steps, like for example, coming up with a vision of the building, then kind of figuring out the schematics first, it becomes a lot easier to build. All right, big idea number 2, and that is that we want to identify the 5 core problems. So I actually got this from Dan Martell, but simply put, if you really think about our clients and our customers in real estate, they suffer from 5 main core problems. A great example of this is first-time home buyers. Think about a first-time home buyer or the average first-time home buyer. There's really 5 main things that get stuck in their mind that hold them back from moving forward with a real estate purchase. Now, off the top of my mind, low-hanging fruit would be understanding loans, understanding how much they can afford, probably understanding the pre-qualification and approval process. Number 4 being really understanding what the heck escrow is. And probably number 5 is buyer's remorse. Now, these 5 core problems, it's really subjective. So really think to yourself and think about your clients and your customers. Identify the 5 main struggles or typical questions that they ask you and just try to categorize them into 5 big groups. All right, big idea or principle number 3 is that after we've categorized these groups, then we want to start identifying topics under each one of these categories. So for example, I said lending earlier. So some easy top of mind issues that a first-time home buyer might face or might struggle with or might have difficulty understanding would be something like understanding the different types of loans available for a home buyer, or what do points mean, for example, or maybe how to find a lender. Now, if you really take a second to think about it, you'll find that there are a bunch of topics that you can come up with just based off of just one category. All right, last big idea or principle number 4 is that you should say it, don't type it. Look, trying to come up with content, it's difficult, especially if you're looking at a blank Word doc and a blinking cursor. However, one of the easiest strategies to do is simply to just pick up your phone and just say your thought. Now that you have the category and you have a topic, speaking about this particular thing for about 1 or 2 minutes is actually pretty easy. But here's a little bit of a pro tip. All of our phones have this ability to transcribe voice to text. So if we think about this category and this topic, and all we need to do is talk about it for a minute or 2, and our phones are transcribing it, then all we simply need to do is speak into our phone, and then the words will magically appear. And then our job really at that point is to take those words and then sculpt it into a script, or maybe turn it into a social media post or an email that you're going to be sending out. And then voila, you now have a piece of content. All right, so in theory, this probably all makes a bunch of sense and sounds super easy to do, but what does this actually look like in action? So let me show you. So what you're looking at here is an example of a content calendar template. or an ideation template that we use for every single one of our clients. Now, if you want access to this sheet, I'm going to leave it in the description section below. And once you get into the sheet, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go up to a file and then make a copy, and then make a copy for yourself so that you can go in here and actually edit it. All right, let's break down the anatomy of the sheet so you understand how exactly to use this. Okay, so step one is we first want to try to identify how many pieces of content that we want to post per week for the next quarter, for example. So we have 12 weeks here. And in this particular example, I'm going to say that I want to post 3 times a week for the next 12 weeks. And that essentially gives us the total amount of posts that we need to create. Now, if you want to do maybe 4 or 5 times a week, then you simply just need to add a couple rows and then really put in the dates. And then you'll easily be able to see how many posts you need to create and what date you need to be publishing them on. All right, so the next thing that we want to work on and come up with are those categories, those 5 core problems. And that's really what these themes or this theme column is for. So if we use the example of the first-time home buyer, I said that lending was one. And then we have what can I afford? Then the pre-qual process, then escrow, and then buyer's remorse. Now, here's the big secret, the big aha to make this work for you. Highlight these 5 core problems, hit copy, and then paste, and then paste, and then paste, and paste your way all the way down to the end of your 12 weeks, and then you'll see that you have some stuff left over. You can just go ahead and delete that. And by simply doing this, you now have categories or themes to talk about for each one of these days that you're going to be creating these posts for. And then the last step is coming up with topics. So as I alluded to earlier, if we're talking about lending, the first big topic for lending is loans available for first-time home buyers. Another big idea for lending that most first-time homeowners or first-time home buyers don't know are what are points. And then another one would be how to find a lender. And then so on and so forth. And all you simply need to do is just go through this process and then fill in all of these little fields here. And then before you know it, you now have every category, theme, and topic for all 12 weeks. Now, if you wanted to take this a step further, you would simply just pick up your phone, flip the camera so it faces you, like selfie mode, hit the record button, and then you can just speak into your phone each one of these topics. And then from there, just post it. And then you now have easily put together an Instagram reel. Anyways, I hope you found this little hack helpful. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. We'd really appreciate it. Aside from that, we have a free Facebook group where we talk all things about digital marketing, social media, scaling real estate businesses, leaving the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, then check out this one here. See you later.